Hello everybody and welcome to our week 1 Teambuilder video against the Pidgeburgh Steelers of the Fun Partner League. So the Pidgeburgh Steelers have a team of Raikou, Lucario, Darmanitan, Tornadus Eye, Silvally, Ariados, Mega Gardevoir, Dugtrio, Cloyster, Sceptile, and Tyrantrum. So immediately what you'll notice about this team is that there is absolutely no fat on it. Like, this team is straight hyper offense. No, I mean, this could be out of unintelligence of the drafter, of the coaches, or maybe they're just going for straight hyper offense. But this is the team that cannot switch into anything really. It has trouble switching into most things. So, the team we'll be bringing is a team of Medicham, Tapu Koko, Gligar, Metagross, Virizion, and Vaporeon. So, Mega Medicham is Zen Headbutt, Fake Out, Bullet Punch, Thunder Punch, Max Speed, Max Attack. Needs to be max speed in order to outrun Darmanitan, and if it's outrunning Darmanitan, you may as well just speed tie with Mega Gardevoir as well while you're at it. Fake Out plus Bullet Punch on the same thing is good for priority, because he does have a lot of setup sweepers, so strong priority is definitely very good to have. Thunder Punch is good with Tapu Koko. It's good for hitting Thunderous on or a Tornadus on a prediction, or other things that resist Zen Headbutt, but there's no fighting stab on it on our Medicham, and this is because his team has no switch into Zen Headbutt, so fighting stab is not necessary. Neutral. I mean, Silvally can be anything. Super effective. Mega Gardevoir resists, but it can get hit by a Bullet Punch, and I mean, a fighting stab wasn't going to be any more useful against that. Neutral. Fighting stab would help against Cloyster, but once again, we have Bullet Punch and Fake Out. And no Cloyster will be setting up in the face of a Zen Headbutt. That's for sure. Neutral and neutral. So, Zen Headbutt actually hits his entire team for neutral besides Mega Gardevoir. And Mega Gardevoir, I don't think it quite goes down to Zen Headbutt plus Bullet Punch, but it's close. But he struggles very hard to switch in on Mega Medicham. Zen Headbutt is very difficult for him to switch into. And having Fake Out and Bullet Punch for priority is really good, especially against things like Tyrantrum, which want to set up Cloyster, especially for breaking Cloyster Sash, if it has one. Lucario, although it does resist both. It's not too great against Lucario. Fake Out's nice against Raikou, it's nice against Tornadus. So yeah, the priority is very nice. Thunder Punch allows it to hit most things neutrally and take advantage of the electric terrain Koko will be setting up, especially like Gardevoir. So yeah. Mega Medicham is just incredibly hard for him to switch into, and actually outruns most of his team. The only things outspeed are Raikou, which doesn't have anything strong to hit it with super effectively. Tornadus, which does outspeed it and have something strong to hit it with super effectively, although it cannot switch in. I'm pretty sure it dies to Zen. Silvally, if it chooses to be Psychic, can actually switch in pretty well on it, but it's slower. His only things that are faster are Raikou, Tornadus, Sceptile, and then Mega Gardevoir ties with it, which is a pretty normal amount to have faster than a base 100, but it does outrun the majority of his team, which is very nice. So next we have the Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko's Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Dazzling Gleam, Roost. So Electric Fairy coverage hits his whole team. Fairy hits Raikou, but in terms of electric, he does not have many resist to it. Sceptile, but Sceptile is not a very bulky Pokemon. Tyrantrum, but Tyrantrum dies to Dazzle. Raikou, I suppose, but I mean, Raiku's definitely its special bulk is actually decent, but we have good switch-ins into Raikou, or like especially one good switch into Raikou. But the elephant in the room is Dougie. That is his singular ground type to prevent Volt switching on his team. And Dougie will trap Coco, especially if it's a Scarf variant. However, we are running Shed Shell, so we cannot in fact be trapped by Coco or by Dougie. And in fact, what Shed Shell turns what seems to be an advantageous situation for our opponent into a advantageous situation for us. So Thunderbolt plus Volt Switch hits his entire team nicely. Tapu Koko can Volt Switch on every single Pokemon to gain momentum for us and hit hard at the same time, except for Dougie. But what will happen is Dougie will think it has Coco trapped and go for an Earthquake, because if you're bringing Coco or Dougie, you're obviously going to make it beat Coco in one way or another, whether that's Sash or Scarf. But in actuality, our next Pokemon, Gligar, can come in freely on it, wall it to hell and back, and set up Stealth Rocks on it. And Stealth Rock is incredibly good against his team because two of his biggest offensive threats are Darmanitan and Tornadus, both of which do not appreciate Rocks Up at all. So getting Rocks Up really pressures his offensive Pokemon, especially because both of them don't have great recovery. Actually, I don't think either of them have any. Tornadus might get Roost, but I'm not sure. Gligar also is a decent check to actually a very good check to Darmanitan, so long as it's not banned. Banned actually has the power to kill Gligar through basically out damage it. It does like 60 to 70. Banned Darmanitan is actually a serious problem for this team. We are prepared for it, especially because Mega Medicham, Coco can all revenge it, but it's going to be difficult to keep Banded Darmanitan from getting at least one kill if it does come. Just realized we're missing an EV. We'll put that in attack. Earthquake has hit the Banded Darmanitan, or Darmanitan in general, just to have good stab. Defog is there to keep him from setting up webs against Ariados, because Ariados is definitely a problem. Did want to have Taunt on this, but to keep webs from going up so that we can defog him, keep him out, not get into a war where he's just spamming sticky webs until we run out of defogged PP, which is possible. But yeah, Gligar is really good for coming in and setting up rocks, especially against Dougie. Really good for taking on Dougie. Takes on Darmanitan well, takes on Lucario well. Goes in the electric community if we do need it. So yeah, max defense just to take on Darmanitan and Dougie to the best of his ability. Next up is our Metagross. This is also Shed Shell because Metagross has a lot to do this game. It'll be our primary check to both his Tornadus and his I'm drawing a blank on what it was. And his Tornadus and Mega Gardevoir. That was it. His Mega Gardevoir. Our primary check to his Tornadus and Mega Gardevoir, and it needs every last bit of health it can get to take on both of them. And because of this, we cannot have it being trapped and chipped by Dougie. It would be fantastic if we were able to run Assault Vest and take on both of the threats very well, but the fact that Dougie can trap it, hit it with an Earthquake, and then put us in a situation where Tornadus or Gardevoir might break Metagross is a bad situation. So we need to have the Shed Shell to make it so that we're able to preserve as much HP on Metagross, make it solely check those two members, and make it as difficult for those two to break Metagross as possible. And we do have a lot of options on our team to help out Metagross with this task, because those two are definitely a lot to handle as offensive members. because they are a bit redundant in that really you can only check them with Metagross in terms of typing. So, anyways, Metagross's moveset. Bullet Punch is fantastic priority. Thunder Punch into Bullet Punch kills Tornadus. Thunder Punch does slightly more than Meteor Mash against Tornadus, but does not have a chance to miss, has a chance to para, and gets boosted by terrain, which is nice. Earthquake is there to hit Raikou if it needs to, because it can definitely always live a hit from Raikou and kill it back. Now, Metagross is definitely not the primary answer to Raikou, but it's there if we need it. Max special defense, just so that I can take the hits from Tornadus and Gardevoir better. So next up is our Virizion. Now Virizion has naturally very high special defense, and this allows it to check Raikou very well. It resists electric types, and really Raikou's best move to hit it with is Extra Sensory, and Extra Sensory just doesn't do enough to Virizion hard walls Raikou. There's really nothing a Raikou can do to break it, like barring hacks. And it has access to screens, so the ability to come in on Raikou and set up screens is definitely very valuable for us. It also outruns Darmanitan, allowing it to set up light screens and reflects late game if it needs to. But light screen is very useful against this team because most of his primary attackers, especially the ones we can't deal with or have trouble dealing with, mainly being the Tornadus and the Gardevoir, it makes them a lot easier to deal with, especially for Metagross. So Raikou will come in on, or Virizion can come in on Raikou very, very effectively, and put up screens very freely. And naturally, Tornadus is a switch into it. But as soon as Tornadus comes in on a Virizion, and light screens go up, Metagross has very little issue walling it, which is very good. So a light screen will help Metagross ease its job, and it can definitely come in clutch late game. Synthesis is just there for the recovery. It's exactly enough speed to outrun Darmanitan, no matter what, even Jolly Darmanitan. Sacred Sword is just its best attacking move because we want it to be able to hit both Raikou and Lucario, because Special Lucario, this thing does very well against Special Lucario. Physically, Lucario, Gligar can handle better, and Special Lucario, this will be able to take better. But Sacred Sword can hit them both. Sacred Sword hits most of his team well. It doesn't hit the Tornadus, but like nothing we had really was ever going to hit the Tornadus well. Suppose it gets walled harder by Mega Gardevoir, but we really didn't need to be beating a Mega Gardevoir. But screens are very nice to have on this team. Lastly is the Vaporeon. It's mixed defenses, but highly invested in defense. So definitely much more heavily in defense than anything else. And this set is to once again ease pressure off of Metagross and beat checks for different things. So this can always take Flare Blitzes from Darmanitan unless it's like Adamant Band, and Adamant Band does a lot to it. However, it can't outdamage it through Scald. This allows us to always beat Cloyster because no given move Cloyster has can beat it, and it can just roar Cloyster right out. Scald is nice, does a lot of damage to Darmanitan. Vaporeon is actually deceptively strong. 110 special attack is nothing to laugh at all. And this bulk it has here allows it to effectively check Darmanitan and Cloyster, but at the same time take Psyshocks and Hyper Voices from Gardevoir if it needs to, and fire back. It's not 2-hit KO'd by a Hyper Voice from Gardevoir, which is really nice. It can Wish Pass, especially into Metagross, to help it out if Metagross gets weakened, because Metagross does not have reliable recovery on its own. That definitely can't guarantee that it'll happen, but it's definitely there as an option if we need it. Roar is good for phasing, especially if Gligar is able to get rocks up, which it should be able to, because Dougie should come. I think you'd have to be pretty crazy to not bring Dougie against a team with Metagross and Koko. Um, so yeah, um, it's great for wish passing. Having a good check to Cloister, because Cloisters can definitely do a lot to our team if we don't have a good check to it, and Vaporeon is a good check for that. It's kind of just a backup check. It kind of checks everything decently well. It can take a hit from Tornadus and fire back if it needs to. It roars out Cloister, kills Darmanitan one-on-one, so long as it's not banded. It doesn't even get to it KO'd if it's not banded. Can take a hit from Gardevoir and fire back. It's very good at just doing a decent job of checking everything and taking the pressure off of everything else. And serving the primary role of making sure Cloister doesn't straight up win, because Metagross we need to conserve HP on for the others, and ice coverage kind of hits everything else really hard and kills everything. So it's definitely necessary to have a solid check to that. But at the same time, it does do a very good job against the rest of the team as well. So I definitely like the team we came up with. The only thing I'm concerned about are things like Tyrantrum. Tyrantrum definitely is dangerous, especially if it's an Ice Fang variant to break Gligar. It'd be a strong draw. But I definitely think we can handle it, especially with the large amount of priority we have on our team, being double priority on Medicham and Bullet Punch on Gross. And I think the screens should help us out a lot, especially if they bring Raikou. And we have a lot of solid switch-ins to most of the team, and they struggle a lot to switch into us. So I think for us to lose, they're either going to need to hacks or break a very critical member of the team. And I mean, it definitely could happen, but I do feel pretty confident about this matchup.